Hey, everybody. Hi. I decided to go live. I shouldn't be going live in the early morning, y'all, because I get really irritated. I'm not gonna lie. These TikTok streets are really frustrating. I just wanted to say hi, y'all. These TikTok streets are very frustrating. I'm not gonna lie. Incredibly frustrating. The way that a bunch of low IQ people go on TikTok, host their lives, and say the most disparaging things about situations they don't understand, to me is insane. What are you confused about? It's like, oh, that's crazy, Mr. Bahri. What are you confused about? It's the worst in the mornings. Yes, it is. أمنا يا حياتي تمام الحمد لله وانتي. It's the worst. Literally. The fucking worst. Like, y'all, I need to stop going live in the middle of the night because this ish is hella irritating. Y'all, I was in a live where they're talking about the situation that's happening in Libya and in Egypt. And then they're dunking on the victims? Isn't that crazy? They're dunking on the victims? Bro. Hi. Can I chat about this? What? Hold on. Let me let you up. Who are you, Ari?
Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, your question is, was slavery actually abolished?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it has, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's so many countries in Africa, even in the Middle East, where children don't have access to those resources that kids in Europe or in America have. And it's not everyone in America though, but it's sad because there are kids who are exploited in the Congo. People who have experienced famine and war in Africa as well. You know, and I think that's unfortunately we're not all heroes, and those things. I tried to donate to this kid. I forgot what country it was. I don't know what it was that he had, and I tried to donate to people in Yemen too. Because people in Yemen are going through a lot too, and in Gaza.
Yeah, so I think what you're talking about specifically is income inequality, and exploitation of labor.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about slavery. You're talking about modern slavery. I'm talking about slavery in the traditional sense that we know it, where people literally get captured and sold on slave markets, which is still happening today.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, you're right.
Yeah, no problem. So I'm talking specifically about the slavery that is happening within Libya and Egypt, where people are being sold, and slave auctions and all these different things, and tortured and trafficked as well, and not necessarily, which is a very serious issue as well with regards to wealth inequality, exploitation, and all these different things are very serious issues too. But
No, yeah. I agree that there's a lot of human rights violations, and it is considered slavery.
It is, yes.
Yeah.
It is recognized as slavery.
Because even though it's not the same as it was in the United States type, where they were like, even though it's not like considered like how slavery was in the US
Do
throughout.
you know anything about what's happening in Libya and Egypt?
Um, I I know that Egypt is. I don't know what's happening, but I know what's happening in Yemen and in Gaza, but and a lot of countries in Africa, but I don't know what's happening in Egypt.
Okay, so in Yemen, it's not slavery, it's a G-side. So Yemeni people are being unalive because there's a civil war.
Oh yeah.
Within Gaza, it's a genocide between a colonial occupation and a colonized people. In Libya and in Egypt, it is the Libyan and Egyptian people, and sometimes foreign traffickers as well. Other African traffickers are involved, or UAE traffickers too, who are actively being, sometimes in Libya, funded by the EU to kidnap migrants or asylum seekers who are African. And then, as
Mm.
a form of deterrent, they either hold them ransom or they then sell them into slavery at auction places
So
where they are then to work
sorry.
for their people.
Oh, that's horrible. Can I ask a
Yes.
question? Did you say this is done by the UAE?
Partially, yes.
So like countries like Saudi Arabia.
No, not Saudi Arabia.
Wait, but so is it the United Emirates?
Yes.
Oh, but oh, because as far as I'm concerned, I thought like there used to be like a war between Yemen and Saudi Arabia, if I'm not wrong.
It still exists, yes.
Oh, oh. Yeah, I feel like Saudi Arabia is very greedy. No offense, but they're very greedy. The country,
Yes.
the government, like they just are. They fill their pockets with money. They don't care to take in people who actually need money and who actually need refuge. They like wow,
Yes.
it's ridiculous. They just focus on making all these multi-billionaire buildings,
Yes.
and it's disgusting. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm Latina, right? So I know what it's like. Come from Honduras, so like I know what like that might feel like for them. It might be like horrific. Um, and like I do also think that like what's happening in Syria right now is also like at least they just broke off like the regime that they had with Assad.
Yes, but we're not talking about Syria or Gaza or Yemen. We're specifically talking about Libya and Egypt right now. I think I want to
Okay,
raise
yeah, sorry.
awareness. No problem. I want to raise awareness about the situation within Libya and Egypt because it is incredibly, incredibly bad. And so I feel like there are a lot of panels that are already talking about Syria, that are already talking about Palestine and all these different issues. I just want to heavily focus on the slavery that is happening in Libya and in Egypt,
Okay,
if you may understand for now, because they're not getting a lot of awareness.
what's happening in Egypt right now?
Yes, it is happening in Egypt within the Sinai actively right now. People are being enslaved and
By who?
trafficked
By who? What did you say? By
by Bedouins in the Sinai.
Bedouins?
Bedouins in the Sinai, yes, nomadic people within the Sinai.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
damn.
So there is a film, The Sound of Torture, on YouTube. If you want to know more about that, I would suggest you watch that film. It's called The Sound of Torture. And it focuses on the people in the Sinai.
Well, so as far as I'm concerned, Libya hasn't it always, not always, but what's going on in Libya?
Yes, so in Libya, after Gaddafi was toppled by a joint operation by the US and NATO, that has plunged the whole country into a complete destabilized state where militiamen have taken control.
Oh,
And now those same militiamen, including the Libya Coast Guard, are being funded by the West, especially specifically the EU, especially to hold back migrants as a form of deterrent to prevent them from crossing the Mediterranean Sea. And they have then chosen to enslave said migrants and actively either hold them for ransom, torture them, try to get money off of them, or sell them into slavery if they cannot get money off of their family. And as for now, they have decided to evict all the migrants from their homes or the detention centers, have given them about 10 days to leave Libya or get unalived,
oh
hunted,
my
or
God.
sold into slavery. And it is genuinely horrific. If you go to Twitter and look up Libya slave trade, or just look up some articles, there are a lot of horrific videos
Okay.
circulating of
So
what
I
they're
have a
doing to the migrants.
sorry, I have a question. I think I heard of the situation in Libya. I'm not an expert, so, but who is Gaddafi? I think I heard of his name.
Okay, I think this will be a good question for Google because we're not going to go into Libyan
Okay,
politics.
sorry.
No problem. Gaddafi was a former president. Look into that Google. I bet it will help.
Okay.
So, yes,
And
for now, we're
I,
focusing
as I'm
specifically.
concerned, he did bad things in Libya, right?
We are going to be focusing on the slave trade in Libya.
Okay, okay. Sorry.
No problem.
So like, what was I gonna say? I think my train of thought just um. I'll look that into further because I think I heard of that name, but I
Mm-hmm.
forgot. Oh, I remember now. I hate to bring American politics into this, but as far as I'm concerned, I have heard that President Obama's term kind of affected Libya.
Yes, because
Is
he was president when Gaddafi was being toppled.
okay.
That plunged the whole country into chaos.
Okay. I want to do more research into that, but thank you for letting me up.
No problem.
Um, it's really sweet that you let me up. So, but have a good night if it's
Mm-hmm.
nighttime where you are at.
Thank you. Have a good night as well, Ari. Okay. Um yeah. The reason that's why I hosted this live is because the live that I was in decided to talk about this topic of full-blown slavery happening in North Africa, and instead they decided to dunk on Eritrea, which is one of the countries that is also being affected, like whose people are being affected by the slavery. So yeah, no, I have decided to talk about this topic specifically as well. Um, because I don't like how they have decided to bring in Eritrean ethnic issues, which if you're not Eritrean, I don't know why you're talking about these issues with or our ethnic groups. Religious conversations, again, I don't know why you're trying to bring that up. Eritrea is literally made up of Muslims and Christians, almost half. We do not have any religious or ethnic issues unless you want to destabilize our country or have another motive behind bringing that topic. So to me, it was very disingenuous that they decided to talk about this topic, but then go into the interpersonal politics of Eritrea. So yes, let's go to Adulis first, and then after that we can go to Ahmed.
Hey, what's up, Kobe? Thanks for opening up this live. That was crazy. Um,
Yeah, no, I got irritated. It was like a very impulsive, but it really irritated me. Yeah.
it is, it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's a serious issue, and it's sad that people have to bring up religion and,
Mm-hmm.
even like at the end of the day, like who is doing it isn't going to impact how it's fixed, right? Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
if that's the objective of talking about a solution, right? If the person happens to be from East Africa, if it happens to be Arab, if it happens to be from Europe or Asia, wherever,
Mm-hmm.
like at the end of the day, that's a bad person. He deserves to be
Mm-hmm.
punished. and it doesn't really change the solution, right, that we should be talking about.
Yeah, I
But
agree 100%. Also, I feel like it was very disingenuous because even though, yes, individual traffickers are taking part, the overall system, though, is being run by majority Libyans and by majority, like, people from the Sinai, and it's being funded by the EU. So, like, you cannot take that away from it, even though individual, like, Eritrean or Somali or Sudanese traffickers are participating in that system, unless you, I don't know, want to deflect from the whole situation.
yeah, no, I completely agree. But they distract the conversation from like and act talking about a solution to
Mm-hmm.
what does a person look like that's doing these bad things, you know?
Exactly. Fully
But
agree.
I think that what I was trying to say there initially is kind of like a lot of these people, right? Most of them, at least like I know my family, when they leave our country and they go to whether Uganda or Egypt or wherever, they all have internet access and they all have phones, right? So that means they all have a way and a means of being communicated to. And I think it's just a matter of understanding how to use the technology so that the message gets to their phone, right? Because like for instance, like when you send a video, or like a good example would be like from my mom. My mom has a business, and I help her with like running ads. I can target the ads, right? When I pay Google to create these ads, I could target it so that it's within the region that her business is in, only within maybe a 30-mile radius, because those are the people that I want to attract, because those are the people who are most likely to use her service, right, in her business. When you're sending out a message to people on things like social media, whether it be TikTok or other social media platforms, you can send out messages to direct areas, right? So like if we understand where these people are before they go to Libya, and we target those areas, and we know that they have phones, right? And we can get messages to them explaining to them, right? People who've been through this, that have stories exactly uh, what's happening there. I think uh, that would be a very effective form of preventing them from going to Libya. I personally don't know how. I think it's great, and I admire people who protest and try to spread awareness and speak to representatives. But honestly, I don't think people care. That's the thing. Like I really don't think people are going to
Yeah.
care about East Africans suffering in Africa. They're just so far removed from Africa, and they don't relate
Mm.
to us. Sadly, we don't really matter, right? I mean, and you see that by when atrocities happen in certain countries, it's all over the news. But when things happen to our
Mhm.
people, nobody cares. Nobody's heard of it, right? You talk about the wars that we go through, nobody's heard of it. Nobody knows how our people suffered because they don't care.
I agree 100%. I agree. Nobody knows the information of our liberation movement as well. I will never forget. There is this article by the Atlantic. It's called "The Loneliest War." It was published in 1988, I think. And it was this guy basically talking about how the liberation war in Eritrea was incredibly lonely because nobody was paying attention to it. And towards the end of the article, he says that one thing that stuck out to him was a conversation he had with this British author who had been to Eritrea. And when he was there, he saw an EPLF fighter just lying down, staring like at the sky. And when he asked him why he was staring at the sky, he told him um, he was trying to find the satellites. And he told him why. And he said, because a satellite up there reassures him that somebody somewhere is paying attention. And when I read that, I really, really wanted to cry because it kind of like emphasizes the the lack of attention to this whole region right? The fact that this whole region is dealing with its own issues on its own, with no attention, with barely any help, and yet people don't
هاي
even understand
هاي
that there
أختي
is a war.
العزيزة.
سلام.
سلام أختي، كيف حالك؟
تمام. يا زيزو، ارجع بكرة وبعدين حطلعك. طيب، اليوم
اعملي
اليوم اللايف اليوم اللايف حق ليبيا والمصر وإريتريا كمان. بس بكرة لما أروح لايف بعدين أقدر أطلعك. طيب يا عزيزي؟
نعم أختي، خلاص اعملي لي
تمام
فولو.
الحمد لله.
اعملي لي
طيب
فولو.
حسوي لك فولو يا عزيزي، وحروح لايف بكرة وبعدين حطلعك. طيب إن شاء
بكرة
الله.
الساعة كم؟
أوف، والله ما بعرف ساعة كم عشان عندي شغل
خلاص
بكرة.
خلاص
إن
أختي،
شاء
أنا
الله.
بس أشوفك فاتحة بيجي لعندك.
طيب إن شاء الله يا رب، إن شاء الله
باي باي
نشوفك
أختي،
بكرة
مع
بعدين.
السلامة.
الله يحميك إن شاء الله يا
الله يبارك فيك يا أختي.
مع السلامة. Okay, sorry. Ahmed, you were next and then Blessed.
What did he want?
Okay, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
By the way, I'm Creed. I just my
Oh,
other
Creed,
account.
you changed your name. Okay. Hi,
Yeah,
Creed.
this is just my other account, my other Creed account. So,
Okay.
and we talked about this issue before here in Egypt, especially in the Sinai and some areas around the Libyan border. And the what's it called? It was Sound of Torture. I think
Sound of torture.
yeah. But if I remember correctly, like I feel like it's more expanding nowadays because it's not just the Eritrean and some Sudan, like it's getting more into Sudanese people too, because they're being trafficked nowadays too, which is very bad, you know.
Yeah, so when it comes to Libya, it is like all African people are kind of being trafficked and enslaved in Libya, not only East Africans, but also Central and West Africans. When it comes to Egypt, though, the Sinai, I mean, the last book that I did read was this book called Enslaved, which is a bulky research book that was released last year, I think. Hold on. Yeah, last year. And it specifically said that about 95% of the people who are being enslaved in Egypt specifically are Eritrean. Now, of course, you have to take into account that some Ethiopians do pretend to be Eritrean when they are seeking asylum and all those different things. But when it comes to the Sinai as well, a lot of them work with Sudanese traffickers, so they do end up kidnapping people from Sudan. So at least a majority of the people enslaved in Egypt are Eritrean, but then when it comes to Libya, it's a wide range of Africans, not only Eritrean.
But I think our people are more victims. They are more held captive because they pay. They look at Eritreans as money, liquidative, because versus other Africans, they don't seem to. I heard about that. I don't know how true that is, but because the Eritreans pay, so they become more of the victims. They are more held captive. So listening to, I don't know if you've been to Sami Shakur. Do you know who Sami Shakur is? I don't know if you know the room. Do you go there?
Yes, I follow him. I watch his lives, yeah.
So I've been seeing some of the victims. I mean, those are Eritreans in Libya, but they're not like held captive, but they lived in a city called Tripoli, whatever the name of the city is, but how they're treating them and stuff like that. And then there was one that she was a victim previously. When she gives the detail of what she's gone through, and she even mentioned that majority of them are Eritreans. She gave the details of she was pregnant. She got pregnant by one of the Libyans that were torturing them and stuff like that. She was being great. She had a child and he burned that child's head. I couldn't believe that. And then he put his thing in her mouth, like in public, like in front of everybody. It's not even in private, like just humiliating her. So they do stuff like that. And she said that majority of there's some of everybody, but majority of them are Eritreans because they look at money. So yeah, even though it's everybody, yeah, it's our people, but of course everybody advocates for their own, sadly. And then it's just sad, like in the other room, they more focused on, they call it Islamophobe. It's not, it has nothing to do with Islamophobe. I don't understand it. It's like they don't even want to talk about the issues. They just want to make excuses, or they want to find justification by saying, oh, they shouldn't have fled. Oh, blame the government or this and that. And why are they there? Or they have the right to do that. How else can they get the money? Like, kind of basically saying, of course, they have to torture them, kind of thing. But the sad part is, like, there is a lot of Somalis there as well. They're going through it. There's a lot of, you know, Sudanese, I mean, to be specific, Muslims, they're going through it as well. So I just don't understand. These people feel like they're special. Like, I don't understand. These people, all they see is money. And of course, they may have a little mercy on the Muslims, but they still get treated the same way as well. Some of them. Anyway, but it's just sad that they don't want to talk about the issues. They're too busy defending. And then when you call out the obvious and for what it is, and then you are being, accused of being Islamophobe. That's just disgusting to me. That's all.
Listen, people like Hosni, you have to understand. You have to understand that there are a lot of paid agents on this app. I think social media has made it easier for people to go undercover, to have these conversations, to bring destabilization to different communities. And I need East Africans, especially Eritreans, to be much more vigilant. Because we don't even understand that we are finding ourselves within like a regional war. And people have been talking about this regional war. I mean, there are CIA documents from 1984. Actually, let me show it. Hold on. Let me show this. This is something that is incredibly important because I need people to realize how long these people have been planning this. Hold on. How do I make this bigger? Give me a second.
Yeah, make it bigger.
There we go. So this is a CIA document from 1984. It says here, Israel is eager to expand relations with third world states in order to reduce its diplomatic isolation and to gain access to new markets, right? And then it says, the Israelis clearly also would like to cultivate relations with countries in the Horn of Africa, particularly Ethiopia, because of Israel's need to assure safe passage for its ship through the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. Now, what they're talking about in 1984 was Ethiopia, quote unquote. It's Eritrea, right? Because back then it used to be like colonized by Ethiopia. They're talking about the Bab el-Mandeb Strait and the significance of getting closer to Ethiopia in order to get to the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. And who is in control of the Bab el-Mandeb Strait now? Eritrea. Who's also in control of the Bab el-Mandeb Strait? Yemen. Who also is in control? Djibouti. Djibouti is an army base, unfortunately. Yemen is going through a genocide, right? So who's next? Eritrea. And I need people to understand that when Israel has actively been planning this from the 1980s, from the 1970s, paying a couple $100 or a couple thousand for some rando agents to go on TikTok and to sow division is not that hard. Having some rando people just say, well, Tigrinya are from Mesopotamia. Tigrinya are this and this, this and this and this. Muslims, Christians, is not that hard. And that's why I think it's incredibly important not to engage in these conversations as well, not to join these panels as well, because these panels would not exist and would not thrive if there isn't an Eritrean on the panel who is actively fighting against it. But when we go on the panel, when we fight against it, when we are beefing with these people, it gives them like views, basically.
I agree. First of all, I took a screenshot of it. I've never heard of this, what you just said. It's good. Yeah. And then another thing is that, to be honest with you, I was never exposed to this until um almost 2 years ago with Faisal. Because the first time I heard about it, I'm like, what? Like, I'm shocked. Like, it was a new language for me. And of course, and Faisal, I believe, got it probably from Husni. I don't know. So all this shit that's going around, flying around on TikTok, for someone who does not come on TikTok, probably is not aware of the situation. So, I do believe it. I do. But it's just kind of like, um, but it's kind of hard, like, that's hypocrisy for, um, say, someone like Husni to be paid to do such thing because he's more of Islamic towards religion, and of course he does the ethnic division as well. Of course, for him to work for Israel or for the
I'm not saying work for Israel, by the way. Let me clarify. Allegedly, by the way. Allegedly. What I'm saying is there are a lot of disruptors on the app, and a lot of people are going to disrupt for different reasons. There are people who might have personal reasons and personal agendas, whereas there might be people who are paid by certain people who are doing it for certain groups. Like, again, the point is people like him are disruptors, because to me it's disgusting that we are talking actively about the slavery within Libya and Egypt that is happening today, and these people turned it on, let's bash Eritreans.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was what was shocking, to be honest with you, because I jump in thinking that's what they were talking about, and that's what it was originally. And then they turned it into, they were attacking the West Africans, whatever. They turned it into something else. They turned it into like defending the Arabs kind of thing, defending the Libyans. I'm like, what? Instead of talking about the issues. Yeah. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was better to leave. Yeah, I mean, you can't get nowhere. I mean, obviously. So
Yeah. Can I just say, Johnny Thunder, I do not know who you are. You seem very obsessed. What I'm going to do is, being the tyrannical person that I am going to strip you of your right to freedom of speech.
good job.
Ta-da! Now you're gone. You cannot speak.
Look at Leave. He's doing shout out to the Arabs from now on, dude. From day one. I mean, what do you mean from now on? Like, come on.
Yeah.
It's okay.
But from what I'm confused about is because I know Egypt is the one, like Egypt and some of its assets doing this, but I have no clue how they are going all the way to Eritrea. That's my one main issue here. Like I know how they're doing it in Sudan because the borders, and how they're doing it through Chad and other countries, but like Eritrea specifically is a bit confusing or a bit tricky to be.
Yeah, so what they do is they usually don't kidnap people from inside Eritrea, they kidnap them from Sudan. So sometimes refugees or Eritreans who, not even necessarily refugees, these are Eritreans who maybe go there to work. For example, I had a family friend of mine who just very recently was told that he could find a job in Sudan, was basically lured into Sudan. And then once he got there, the person who lured him into Sudan, telling him that he was going to have a job there, turned out being a trafficker and held him ransom. And then his family had to basically pay money to get him out. And so once they get you in Sudan, they can basically kidnap you from there, or they kidnap you on the way to Egypt. It's just very different routes, basically, of how they can get you. If that makes sense.
No,
But
it
they don't
doesn't.
get you from inside Eritrea, no.
Yeah, I was gonna say because like it would be very difficult.
No, they don't get you from inside Eritrea. They get you from outside of it on the way to Egypt or not. Like, I read the story of a 12-year-old kid. He was actually talked about in that documentary I told you about. And this 12-year-old kid was kidnapped from Sudan and then trafficked to the Sinai. He worked for the Bedouin families there for a year, burying bodies. And then after that was released and then got arrested by Egyptian authorities because he was in Egypt illegally. But the reason as to why he was in Egypt illegally was because he was literally kidnapped and trafficked there. And he was 14 when he was interviewed. So
That documentary, an interview or documentary? Like, is that on YouTube?
It's a
yeah, it's
documentary, and
on
sorry.
it's on YouTube. I found it recently. It's called The Sound of Torture.
The Sound of Torture. Okay, I'm gonna look for that.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, the area that's specifically the two main areas is the Kassala and Tokar, right? These are the two main ones.
Well, that was prior to the Sudanese genocide, by the way, because now you have to understand that documentary was prior to the Sudanese genocide. Now it's going to be much more chaotic,
Yeah.
and much more destabilized. And of course, it's not only going to be these two areas where people are being kidnapped from. But yeah, hopefully that answered your questions, Creed.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Erira, you joined the panel. Do you want to say something?
Hey, how are you? No, I just noticed that this is a conversation continuing on from Tarko's panel. If I have something to say, I'll add on later.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think it's important like that specifically East Africans have these conversations and try to control these conversations as well because whatever that conversation was, I have no idea. It was an absolute disaster. And I think like two of those people frequent Legends panels. So it makes sense as to why they were using this as an opportunity to spread their propaganda. So yeah, I don't know.
Found it. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it later.
Yes, it's very, very, very depressing though. So I just want to warn you about it.
Right. Leaf, get out of here, dude. Like, fuck out of here. Anyways, so now what do you guys? What's gonna happen? Like, do you guys know anything? Like, what's going on as far as because it's like what 3-4 days left? Not even 3 days, I think.
Can you there are I mean the viewers is very low today because I don't usually go live around this time, but it's okay. There are still some people here. Can you please maybe inform them on what exactly is going on in Libya right now?
Sure. So in Libya, not only Eritreans, but there are many Africans from all over. They are being held captive, many of them tortured, raped, abused, and just for a ransom. And then there are also some that are not captive, that are living in the city. They are burning their homes. They are like just anybody, like your neighbors can beat you up or whatever. They just mistreat them. They're hiding, and they give them. This was like last week. They gave them many days, which now basically until Ramadan ends, and that ends on Sunday, I think. So they want them to leave Libya. So those refugees, there are so many. There are some refugees. There are also immigrants. They were using it as a transit, basically. So a lot of them, where they gonna go? I mean, so we're just kind of like curious, and it's kind of like worrisome. Actually, I'm kind of worried what's going to happen to them. What are they gonna do for those who are still there? Which majority of them will be there still? Like, where are they gonna go? I mean, I'm sure some of them probably. I think I heard Ethiopians. Some of them left. and some of the Somalilanders, and I'm sure about the other Africans as well. But for the majority of them, they are going to be there. So we don't know what's going to happen. They didn't say what actions they're going to take, but they just said that they have to leave. So it's kind of, just kind of worried what they're going to do to them, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So they've basically kind of evicted them from their areas and have given them only a couple of days to leave. The videos online are genuinely horrific.
It is. I don't watch them. Yeah, I don't watch them.
Yeah, if you go on like Twitter, I have received some videos that were originally kind of sent out by Saron, who herself used to be an enslaved woman who I'm going to have on my panel as well to interview her. But yeah, some of the videos were disgusting. Like the videos that I have seen, one of the videos that I will never forget is that they had a stick, and then on the bottom of the stick, they attached like knives, and then they just use that to like slice, like cut like slices into the person. And I watched that video and I just wanted to puke. Like that video was genuinely disturbing. There were videos of them pouring like water on people and then electrocuting them. There were videos of them tying up people's hands and feet together from the back and then putting them on the ground and just beating them up. I know that there were instances of where people said that they would put like gasoline on the person's head and then put them out in the hot sun so they can literally like burn under the sun in like the desert. And so like I don't even know how anybody could sit here
It's so
and
demonic to me. I don't know.
justify this at all. Like it's disturbing to me.
And what about burning them? They burn them. Like, not only are they burning them, like they will burn like a plastic on their backs.
Hmm.
Can you just imagine? Like, I just don't understand. Like, you just want to beat somebody up, just beat them up, like an old fashioned whooping, whatever. I mean, if that's what, but why? Like, this, what they're doing, I just don't understand. They have no heart. And then now, okay, these are the captive ones, but now the ones in the cities are experiencing the same thing. This guy, he was running away and he jumped off this building to save his life and he broke his leg. The agony, the pain, and then he's getting, beat down at the same time. I just don't understand it. Like, even the people are not even trying to help them. Like the people, like the public, like little boys, little kids, beat them up, take their money, whatever they want to do.
Hmm.
It's just disgusting. I just don't. It's hard for me. I don't even want to watch it no more. It's really, really. It does affect the mental health. Like, I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Especially
No,
knowing
literally.
these are your people. Like, come on. Like, I don't understand it.
Adulis, I think you wanted to say something because you unmuted.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I mean, all these videos exist, right? But nothing's happening. That's why, like what we were saying earlier, I think educating people is gonna be the
Yeah,
best
it's
way moving forward. Because if you have all this evidence and all these videos, and you don't really hear anything from the international community in terms of, wanting to help, then, you know, I think that that's clear, right? That's pretty clear.
I think they're part
They
of
don't
the community.
they don't care, right? They
yeah,
don't
one of
actually
the
care.
main like things that bother me as well is like the lack of, community when it comes to these situations, especially in Africa. Like the things that are happening in Congo, Sudan, and Eritrea, and all these parts. Like I feel like there's lack of, attention to it. You know?
Yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
I see literally more activity, like more people with eyes on like Venezuela over like Congo. Like that is how, the bad situation is.
But my question is, how can this be done? I guess do we manually distribute this to people who are going out? Is there a way to program something to distribute it? Like, if we're gonna try to come up with a solution, we have to like brainstorm, I guess, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think hopefully a lot of different people will try, try different methods. Uh, I have been thinking about it lately, um, and I'll message you what I'm thinking and the messages, just because I'm kind of a private person when I do things. But
Yeah.
I do have some ideas that hopefully will make some difference.
Honestly, in the beginning, I was a bit, last week, or was it like maybe on Monday or whatever, when somebody had live, I was really frustrated because some of the um some of the victims they came onto live, actually, not the captive ones, but the ones that are living there. Um, so they were talking about how like they need to pay $1,000. They go to the embassy and like they have to pay $1,000 because they are already registered refugees. And then so I was getting frustrated, but I just heard that actually the Eritrean embassy did go um, to the, I don't know, it is a place where they keep them. It's like like a jail cell kind of thing. And then they did ask them, whoever wants to go, they went there to register them. Those who are immigrants that were not registered, and they don't have to pay nothing. They can go. So the money that they have to pay is, I think, it's for the form, whatever form they have to complete. But it kind of makes me feel better that the embassy is involved now. So,
So, I requested Hank up. Do you want to repeat? Do you want to repeat that to this woman, Pure?
Exactly.
Because this is an Ethiopian woman. Do you want to repeat what you just said to her as a
You guys
solution?
asked for solutions, right?
Yeah. What was your solution?
Do you want a solution right now? Let's be honest.
What was your
Eritrea is too weak to
solution?
do anything. Ethiopia is too weak to do anything.
So what was your solution?
Remember when the Ethiopian people were beheaded in what country was it?
Say unalived, please. Don't.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Unalived.
that was in Libya.
In Libya.
Was it Libya or Egypt? I'm sorry.
It was in Libya.
Did Ethiopia do anything? No. Because we're too weak. When you're too weak, you can't do anything. Even right now, Eritrea, the same thing. They can't do anything. As its people are being sold, right? What you want the international world to know so this can be stopped. They don't care. By the way, the politics of this world is changing. Like,
what does that have to do with you saying that Ethiopia needs to colonize Eritrea? I'm confused.
Once it gets its hats back, once it gets a bit stronger.
Once it gets its hat back?
Yes.
The hat
Ethiopia's missing its hat.
Unbelievable.
He's saying Asab. He calls Asab the hat, apparently.
And I'm not saying Asab.
That's crazy.
You're mistaken.
What does Asab have to do with?
Wait, you thought I meant Asab?
What do you mean then?
The whole thing.
The whole Eritrea. Dream on. Seriously. Oh God, get real.
It's not a complete hat without it. Come on now.
I swear, y'all are such
and you guys think it's all about colonization.
Of the West.
No,
you know that, right?
We will have equal standing.
You know that you are such puppets of the West. You know that, right?
We're puppets.
What makes you different than the UAE?
Look,
you're sitting here instead of saving your people, you're talking about colonizing another country
at this moment in life. I'm trying to.
Yeah, so the most important part of this conversation is colonizing a different country.
Look, it's a step in the right direction.
Do you know what I think a step in the right direction is?
What is it?
For your country to balkanize.
Okay.
I think that's a step in the right direction.
You just want to weaken us even more, and then more of our people.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying maybe your country needs to balkanize instead of like, yeah, maybe you need to learn your.
More will be.
No, but have you not learned your lesson until now? Like you came up on my panel to literally tell me that maybe you need to colonize Eritrea again.
No, look, you wanted a solution, right? I'm trying to give you a solution.
You don't even care about your people, man. Advocate for them. You can't even contribute anything towards it. All you can say is a hat.
I need my country to get stronger so it can push its weight in the international
So you're
stage.
advocating for colonization. You think you're gonna get stronger through colonization.
I'm advocating for unity.
No, war. See, war is going to cause more displacement. More displacement means more people fleeing.
I'm not asking
meaning more
for
people
war.
going
I'm
to Libya.
asking
So
for peaceful integration.
that's not going to happen. You know that.
You think Eritreans would ever like be okay with you taking over, annexing Eritrea again?
Well, at that point, you chose the direction of violence, right?
Pur, sorry about asking
choice.
that.
We didn't
What's your
want
country,
to do this.
What's your
going
country?
that route.
His country is called Ethiopia.
Ethiopia.
I just want to, but like, just as your logic goes, there are huge nations in Africa, all over the world, really. We can look at maybe the Democratic Republic of Congo, very huge nation, smaller the population, in fact. How do you think like the peace situation there is working out? Like, how do you make people be you or unalive them, and how does that work out? Like Ethiopianness by force, right? Like, what does that result for you? Like, I'm genuinely curious at this point.
Look, we want to go the peaceful route, okay? We do, and we're trying that right now.
Please, like, I do know a lot of Ethiopians. I have Ethiopian friends. Don't say we, just say I.
We're trying to go the peaceful route.
Somebody that agrees with you.
The ones who have a say agree with me, and the ones who always have a say will agree with me. Because let's be honest, when you're not in a position of power, when you're not responsible for 120 million people, you'll say whatever. But when you are responsible for 120 million people, you think what's best for them. You think what's best for their survival, right? And right now, Ethiopia is weak. And I think for Ethiopia, and I think for Eritreans as well, because I do see them as brothers, right? They're no different from the different tribes of people we have in our country.
Were we your brothers when Ethiopian troops were running over our bodies with tanks? I'm just trying to know, because I hear this conversation from Ethiopians about how Eritreans and Ethiopians are brothers, and my question is, were we brothers when you were airstriking Massawa with dropping cluster bombs and unaliving people? Were we brothers then? When we were brothers when you unalived about 3,000 people in Asmara in 1975?
Old men,
or when your government decided to run over our bodies with tanks to strike fear in the rest of the Eritrean population, were they brothers then?
Literally a personal grudge of those in power at the time.
Right? You're saying I have a personal grudge?
No, not you. A personal grudge of those in power at the time.
So Haile Selassie and Dergi.
During that time, right? By the way, during Haile Selassie, something you do not know, maybe let me slightly enlighten you. Eritrea, Ethiopia, I'm going to say the various groups of Ethiopia are very thankful of Eritrea because you have taught us the ways of liberation. And when I say this, I'm not kidding. This is literally thought. You can ask any other ethnic group, not the major ones. Even Oromos, you can ask them, those who really know. Because Eritreans were the ones who began to rebel against the king and then against Derg. they're the main, like, fighting force. And what were they fighting for? You could make the argument it was to create their own nation, but that was not really it. It was for self-autonomy, to govern themselves. Why? Because of leaders trying to impose
We don't want
culture
the flow.
and language on.
I'm sorry, this guy is talking in
Yeah,
slow motion.
I just want to say I just wanted to say for anyone else who's watching that's not from East Africa, the problem that we have with our neighbors is not like lack of cooperation from our side or just willingness to work together. We're perfectly fine with that. They have a problem with identity. Our identity in general seems to be the problem. They don't want to cooperate until we become them, which can be such a problem. We don't want to become anybody else. We just want to stay Eritrean, and cooperation is fine between two countries. But anything else is just ignore it. We can go back to the topic.
Kobe,
PT, where are you from?
I'm from the West. I was listen you. I listen you a little bit about
Where
this.
from the West are you?
I'm from Portugal.
Portugal, okay.
So, for you, what's the enemy, Kobe? It's the West, the enemy.
I mean, there are multiple enemies. For me, the West, Israel, UAE, Ethiopia, as
Ethiopia.
a state. Mm-hmm.
What's your country, Kobe? Sorry for asking.
Eritrea.
Algeria.
Eritrea.
Eritrea.
Yes.
Okay, Eritrea. I don't know the country. Sorry.
It's at the Red Sea.
Okay.
Right next to Ethiopia and between the Red Sea and Sudan.
It's a developed country, Kobe, or not developed?
A what?
It's an advanced country.
Advanced, like first world country?
Like that technological country, like that. Yeah.
I wouldn't say that, but
I just
that's
kicked
quite
them.
disrespectful in a way.
I can't.
It's
If you're
definitely
gonna come on this panel and we're talking about the situation, please look up what Eritrea is. If you were being honest, PT, thank you for asking these questions. That question is like, this live is not about Google what Eritrea is. This live is specifically about slavery in Eritrea. So please,
yes.
PT, Google is free. If you are a follower of mine, I appreciate you, Pedro. Please Google Eritrea and then come back, and then you will see what it is. Thank you very much.
Yeah. To be fair, Eritrea is quite...
PT, I will let you up. I will let you up once you have Googled Eritrea. Then I promise I will let you up.
Yeah, to
Let's
be fair,
refocus on the topic.
Eritrea is a very small country in Africa, so it's very difficult, like a lot of people wouldn't know it to begin with. So I get the miss.
That's not an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not an issue. The issue that I have is like asking all these different questions about it when like that's not the topic of the live. The topic of the live is about slavery.
Yeah.
So it's a country next to Sudan, right on the opposite side of Saudi Arabia at the Red Sea. You can look that country up if you want those information. If you want information about what's happening in Libya and Egypt, then you're welcome to come on this panel. Hagam, okay.
Hi.
Hey, did you want to say something about the topic?
Not if it involves slavery in Eritrea. I don't know what you mean by that.
No, I'm talking about Libya and Egypt.
Okay, never mind then. Yeah. I'm mic down. That's above my pay grade.
Okay.
Just drop him. He doesn't know the topic. That's what he's asking, basically. And
PT, yes, I'm not saying you did anything wrong, but you came asking basic questions about Eritrea, that's why. I can let you... I didn't drop all the people. Hagam literally asked me to drop him.
Hi.
I can raise you if you want to have questions about the situation in Libya and Egypt.
Kove,
Please,
I
like,
was
no
not
basic
joking.
questions
So
about it.
I just ask only that because I want to say my opinion, and you don't allow to the person's talk.
You
All
can say your
because
opinion.
I don't know
Yes, I
the
know,
whole
but...
African countries. I was only asking. Sorry.
And that's perfectly fine. I'm not expecting you to know every single
I
African
don't want to
country.
be offended. Okay.
No, I'm not offended. I'm just saying, like, when we're talking about slavery in Libya and in Egypt, whether Eritrea is an advanced country or not, or whether it's a first world country or a second world country, like, it doesn't matter.
Because
The
the
fact
problem
is,
of the slavery, it's about that also, because you have the west countries explore the African countries first of all. So there is countries that they are more technological than the others, and I was trying to fix it. You understand, Kove? Because I don't know.
Sorry,
I
I
don't
gotta
know.
interrupt you. Sorry.
Sorry.
My question is that, like, are we talking about the current situations in Libya?
yes.
It's like the current situations about like the refugees and the situations.
Yes.
Yes, I think we need to clarify to this guy because he's talking about like colonialism's style or whatever happened back in the 19th century. We're not talking about that. I guess we are talking about like how the Sudanese and Egyptians and other citizens or a foreigner are suffering in Libya. And the Libyan government is a member of the 1951 Geneva Convention and the 1967 protocol, which is protect refugee from discrimination and slavery or torture. So I think we are talking about that.
Okay.
So
it's different. It's different, right?
Yeah. Where you from?
I'm from Portugal.
Okay. Now we're not talking about African history. We are talking about the in Libya. People are suffering from different country, like from Somalia, Eritrea, Ethiopia, and then Egypt. Some of them are from Sudan and also
North Africa countries.
No, they in the inside the North African.
Okay.
Yeah, Libya is so yeah. Anyway, thank you for bringing up this this topic. And actually, I have been a voice for my people. I have some video I can show you. Just give me 1 minute.
So I'm going to drop, guys. I was thinking about the colonization, so I will drop. Thanks, Kobe, for letting me come here again to explain me. Bye.
that is, I don't honestly know what's wrong.
Yeah, no problem. I got irritated in the beginning, but yes, I'm trying to be professional. But yes, Yoni, you can show us videos, of course, that you have.
Can you make me big on the screen so I can be able to show you there?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Please be careful though. Do not show any
No, it's just a
videos
speech.
that
It's just
might
a
get the
speech.
live.
How we become united to be a voice for those people. To make concern, the purpose of this correspondence is to draw your attention to the urgent situations faced by the Eritrean asylum seeker and refugee in Libya. Also, to appeal for your support in advocate for their rights. We call on the Libyan authority to fully respect the provisions set from the Article 33 of the 1951 Geneva Convention, also to the 1967 protocol related to the status of refugee, which is safeguard refugees from torture and discrimination. I call on the international community, especially on the UN Refugee Agency, to provide emergency assistance to all refugees in Libya. Thank you to my Eritrean brothers and sisters for alerting me to the crisis that is currently going on in Libya with the Eritrean refugees. I was unaware of this, and I thank you for alerting me and for asking me to be a voice. To those of you demanding that I say something, please understand I will never be pushed or be made to say anything on my platform. I will always try to educate myself first before speaking out, because if I know that people are listening, I want to make sure I'm giving the best information that I can. With that, I stand with my Eritrean brothers and sisters. I call for a stop to the killings of the Eritrean refugees in Libya. Hello everyone, it's not about having someone or anyone here. If you are Eritrean, it's enough. We Eritreans have the strength to be united and be a voice for every Eritrean refugee who are being tortured and killed in Libya. Our voice to the white official is stop the suffering and killing of Eritrean refugees in Libya. Stop killing Eritrean refugees in Libya. Stop killing Eritrean refugees in Libya. World to hear our voice. Please stop torturing and killing Eritrean refugees in Libya. Stop deporting Eritrean. Yeah, so like we become united to sorry, just give me a second. So we are sending a message to international community that Libya as a country had a government. So this government should respect the 1951 Geneva Convention, also the 1967 protocol, which is protect refugees from discrimination or torture. There is so many people suffering. We are not only a voice for Eritrea. Being like sold like people sell like slavery, which happened in the United States 300-400 years ago. So this is not acceptable. Libya is a member of the United Nations. Libya is a member of the African Union, also signed the 1969 African Human Rights Commission. So we ask the Libyan government to take action against those human trafficking or people who been a victim of those action. We also ask the UN Refugee Agency, which is the higher authority, which based in Geneva, and this organization should interfere and call the international community to send his humanitarian agencies to protect those people. So I think it's been really bad. We have seen it on the media after Ramadan, the Muslim fasting, that like people given authority to kill refugees. Lively, can you imagine? They just come to unalive refugees. This is not acceptable at all. So please be a voice of those people, especially a refugee. Nobody has nobody have a dream of to become a refugee. Nobody has, they were forced because of war and conflict. They become refugee in the second country, and that country has obligation to protect them from those kind of human suffering. Anyway, thank you so much. I appreciate that for this opportunity.
Thank you very much. Before you drop, can I ask you a question? Do you think it would help if we email the Libyan embassy near us and UNHCR office near us?
Yeah, I've been sending a message, like I've been faxing, emailing, telephone call every day. I have never sleep. It's like 3 in the morning, like 20 minutes to 4 in the morning. I just finished a message sending to the UN office in Geneva, and then also the International Refugee Initiative. which is their based office. Their headquarter is in New York, and this organization is called International Refugee Rights Initiative. But this organizations that always give a mandate to to be a voice for those people, and also Norwegian Refugee Council, JRS Refugee Agency, all humanitarian organizations to focus on those issues so that they can be able to bring a solution. I mean, what I'm saying, durable solution. Last 6 years ago, we've been a voice here in Canada. We sent a letter to the African, to the Parliament office here in Ottawa. I live in Ottawa. Then we were managed to save 1,886 people. They were resettled from Niger. Originally, they are from Eritrea. So when the war happened 6 years ago, those refugees, they were evacuated to the next door to Niger, and so we become a voice for those people. They've been able to resettle them to the third durable solution, like they were here. They were like a lot of people coming from Niger, like different type. I mean, specifically 1,886 people or something like that. They are originally from Eritrea, from different country. The Canadian government. We sent a letter to the parliament. Last time even we received a letter. Oh, sorry. I'll show you this later. It's an already. This letter is an official letter that we received from the Canadian government. Wait, I'm just gonna show you. Just give me 1 second. Where is it?
Thank you for your work, everybody here. Please do go follow him and the valuable work that he is doing for Eritreans in general. So
yeah, we've been. This is the letter last time that we received. You can see it from here, from the UN Refugee Agency, that they are aware of the situation. They are looking forward that to work with the agencies that will assist them to resettle refugees from that country. So I don't want to waste my time and your time on the things, but I completely, we are doing everything we can, and then we're also asking some Eritrean to contact the Eritrean embassy so that they can repatriate back home. Some of them, they were complaining that like they do not have enough money to buy air ticket. So little bit some Eritreans that like we sponsor them like by buying air tickets, they can repatriate back home. And so far 6 family were evacuated from Libya to Eritrea, and some of them they have a flight in Saturday this week.
Yeah,
We were like some individual, like I'm not asking any help from anybody. Some friend of mine, and we just contributed some kind of like $6,000. So we just managed to save 6 family. We just bought air ticket from Air Egypt. So this is the last email that the last correspondent we have from the family. I don't think she can see it here. It's like the air ticket is behind me from Air Egypt. Those people, they were managing to. Yeah, so it is good. It is, we're encouraging them. We encourage, this is Air Egypt, the airlines. Let me show you. So we're just buying a ticket for people that who wanted to return back home. Yeah, Air Egypt flight on Saturday. There are 2 families that they have 2 kids, and we just bought this ticket. And the one of them they can't pay because he's a minor, like he's underage. So yeah, we just bought a ticket from Air Egypt. Their flight was in Saturday. They're going to repatriate home to Eritrea, which is good news. And we're also encouraging other people, if you are like capable to return back home, there is nothing that can stop you. We can sponsor you by buying the air ticket. It's just $750. It's just like, I can say 4 days of my salary. It's just 750 or 730 Canadian dollars is like about 500 or 485 American dollars. That costs a one-way ticket. Yeah, that's what we do to help people. And it is stressful. Like I have so many voicemail coming from from different people. Like they are having there is a mother. She went outside to buy uh, bread. She left her kids in the house and she was like taken away by a police for 2 days, and the kids were in the house. They were hungry, so we got this information. So we called several people to go to that house and to save the kids. And she was managing to reunion again with their family. So we're doing our best to help those family. If you have any question, I will be able to answer, or you can send me a message anytime. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yes, thank you very much.
I did have a question, Yoni.
Yeah.
Are there any organizations, because it seems like you're doing a lot of great work, and like I haven't heard a lot of these things, I'll be honest. Are there any organizations if people are interested in helping, in terms of helping people go back home from Egypt or wherever else, where people can donate money? I know that I've seen the petition. I have that on my bio.
Yeah.
But if people want to donate money, are there any organizations or groups that we can donate to help?
Yeah, I just found the message that's on the House of Commons, the Canadian government. He said after election, it will be able to see into our petition so that they could be. We are using the same strategy to help those people to bring them to Canada. So there is no any facility that we can do, but we are asking the government to sponsor them as Eritrean Canadian citizens. I'm asking help so that those people they could be able to be saved. So the same strategy we used 6 years ago. We wrote a letter to the Parliament, the House of Commons, replied to us that there is an election going on, so they don't have time for that. But they went after the election, they will be able to look into this matter. So we are voting for a person that's going to help us, so that after the vote, he will be able to raise this issue to the House of Commons, and then he will be able to save life. There is no international organizations right now operating inside Tripoli due to a security issue. And we always keep in touch with the organization that work in Tunisia to the next door. The UN Refugee Agency has a branch in Tripoli, but the problem is like those people are a Libyan national and they are also hiding information about the torch, and then also some refugees are not comfortable to express their matter to those citizens, those workers who work under the UN refugee agencies. So when they wanted to expose the torch or the kidnapping, they're not comfortable to talk about that because their life is in danger. There is no any foreigner that operate working now with the UN, and all the foreigners are evacuated to Tunisia. So we are sending a message to the Tunisians UNHCR office in Tunisia. We faxing them, we send them emails also to Geneva. The last conversation we have was in Italy, which is very close to Libya. So the Italians authority they received that message, and also we are sending to the British Parliament and then the European Unions also to be a voice on that. It's not easy. It's really it's difficult situation. So there is no any organizations that right now seeking a financial assistance in order to help them, because there is a security threat inside Libya. There is two government. There is one government that is his legitimacy was recognized by the United Nations, and there is one government that is, I think, a coalition or something. So on those conflict, the refugee always are become a victims. Some of them they were like kidnaps and then demanding their family to pay money, otherwise they will be unalive or something like that. So it's we really worry. It's a great concern, not only for Eritrea and especially for Somalians, Djibouti. A lot of people were there, like from Sudan, especially the Darfur people are the highest refugee in the UN base. But according to the UN Refugee Agency data, is they are almost more than 10,000 refugees from Eritrea only. So the higher number of Sudan become like 84,000 people. Yep. Any question before I go?
Yeah, there's a question in the chat. Do you stay in touch with them after they get back home to Eritrea? Was the question in the chat.
Yeah. Those families that there were fights between the Libyans residents and the refugees. So some of them like they become disabled, like some of them broken hand, broken leg. So they need immediate medical attentions. After that, they were decided to go back home because there was no way that they could, take another risk. And some of them are mothers and families, and they want to go back to Eritrea. Yeah, we still helping them with anything, like whatever. Like I personally, I'm sponsoring two family, and those two family, I want to make sure that they arrive safe in Eritrea. Also, like I'm going to send a small amount of money to for their settlement. I was encouraging them over the phone, like this lady, the last family was talking about me, about they leave a small farm behind, so they will manage to go back to farming. And I was encouraging them to do that farming. If there is any financial assistance, I'll be able to send them a small amount of money. And I also have family here. I'm doing my best anyway. It's the best idea. I mean, the best decisions right now is if you are capable to return back to Eritrea is the best. The embassy is there to assist you to clarify everything, that you are Eritrean national. If you are a citizen, they will give you a laissez-passer. It's called a temporary travel document. It's a one-way, and then you can be able to buy ticket to return back. So yes, I've always been keeping in touch. We have a group in WhatsApp we create, and then people during emergency just going to send a message on the WhatsApp group, so we can be keep in touch. Yeah, other question?
No, actually not. Thank you very much for your.
I just wanted to say thank you. I wanted to say thank you because we came from another live. Kobe opened this live, and the other live was very toxic, not productive. People were just saying, things about different tribes and a lot of hateful things. So it's nice to hear, someone that's informed about the situation and can give us, something positive about things that are being done and give us ideas of things that we could potentially do to help as well. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. And the last things I wanted to say, people think there is war in Eritrea because many of them people after they leave from Eritrea, they've been a victim of some kind of oppositions group or whatever group that or become a victim of human trafficking, and they become brainwashed that if you go back to Eritrea, you go straight to jail or you end up in detention. That's not true at all. There is a commission called Eritrean Refugee Commission. These commissions will help you when you return back home, will help you to settle in finding a job and like giving you a priority in everywhere. So especially help you with the material like kitchen materials and housing materials. That's how you do. It's called Eritrean Refugee and Relief Agency. I know I'm trying to send a message to the commission for those 6 people who are returning back to Eritrea. I just want to make sure that people know it's okay to go to Eritrea. It's okay to go to the Eritrean government agencies, ask for help. And some people, they think if you approach the embassy or after arriving to Eritrea, asking a government for small help to be settled again is not a crime. It's okay. I mean, there's many people go to this commission and seek for help, especially people who return back from Sudan, and these commissions help them, like by giving them house materials, some kind of relief services, and then also people who have agriculture experience, they can be able to go, farming, and you can start from farming. I mean, This family, the two of this family, they say they have small farming land in Gashbarka region, and then they're going to start, again farming, and then they can survive at least until they get any assistance. So it's good. It's okay to go. Uh, it's okay to be able to go back to the embassy or go back to the Eritrean government to seek for help. Many of the government, like many of the agencies, like the embassy or the diplomat, like from Cameroon, Niger, and everybody buys his own air ticket. And not only Eritrean are buying themselves air ticket, but all the embassies are they're not buying air ticket for their citizens. The citizen themselves, they won't buy. But now we are approaching the international organizations for immigrant. It's called IOM. These organizations get fund from the UN agencies to buy air ticket for those people who could not afford, and also help them to resettle back home. That kind of project they have, like when while you've been staying a refugee in Eritrea, I mean, in a foreign country, if you really wanted to go back to Eritrea, you've been assisted under this agency. This agency is the one going to process your document and then send you for repatriation. It's called voluntary repatriation, and they're going to remove you from this data that you've been a refugee. And from this, when you are under this agency, there is no authority, there is no government can come and remove you and take you back home, because there is a protocol. That's why the diplomat, they do not want to approach involved in the refugee matter, because Eritrea is a member of the 1951 Geneva Convention. If the citizen of Eritrea approach the embassy will be 100% to help them, but they're not able to go inside to this agency and take them back home. So that's why there is an international protocol process to return back home, and a lot of people have been like happy to to return back home, seek help, and it's okay to go back to Eritrea. There is no torture, discriminations, or false imprisonment in Eritrea. People have like different mentality. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. That's all I want to say.
Okay, thank you very much, Yoni, for coming in and sharing all this valuable information with us. Also, I simply just wanted to open a live to it was very impulsive to give people a space to have productive conversations after that last live that we were in. So I'm about to end because I'm really tired. I'm going to go to bed. But before I go to bed, are there any final statements from everyone, maybe?
Thank you for opening the live, Kobe. I appreciated it. I learned a lot.
No problem. Thank
Thank
you.
you for doing that.
Yeah, thank you. All right, have a good night.
Yeah, have a good night. Thank you very much, Adulas. Thank you, Yoni, for coming up as well. Thank you, Elira, and thank you, Ahmed.